The day before my mom died, she stopped humming. Every morning for 30 years, she hummed while stirring her tea. Soft, off-key, but constant. Even when she was sick, even when she was grieving. But that morning, she just sat there, staring into her cup. I thought maybe she was tired, or maybe she was just lost in thought. I didn't ask. I didn't sit beside her. I had emails to check, deadlines to meet. So I kissed her forehead and said, "I'll be back in the evening." She nodded, smiled faintly, but didn't say a word. That was the last time I saw her alive. I didn't know silence could be so loud until she wasn't there to break it. In the days leading up to it, there were signs. She didn't finish her toast. She turned down her favorite song. She kept adjusting the curtains over and over, as if trying to control the light in a room that was fading from her. We thought she was just being particular, a little moody, a little slower. She stared longer at the wall, asked to hear my voice but didn't talk back, held her photo albums but didn't open them. Maybe she's tired, we said. Maybe she just needs space. But what she really needed was for us to notice. My brother asked if she was okay. She said, "I'm just settling in." We thought she meant into the house, but now I think she meant into the idea of leaving. There are so many things we see but don't see. We wait for drama, but sometimes death walks in quietly and sits beside you while you look the other way. It was a Sunday. The sun came in through the blinds, drawing soft lines on the kitchen tiles. Mom sat by the window, her hand curled around her teacup. But she didn't sip. She just stared. At nothing. At everything. "I'll call you tonight," I said. She nodded again. No smile this time. I didn't kiss her goodbye. I told myself I was running late. I didn't think it would matter. That night, my sister called. She's gone. Just like that. No final gasp, no warning, no beeping monitors. Just the sound of the clock ticking in an empty room. They said it was peaceful, that she slipped away in her sleep. But the guilt that followed has never been peaceful. I didn't say, "I love you." I didn't ask, "Are you okay?" I didn't sit long enough to feel the weight of what she was trying to tell me. And now, I carry that silence like a second skin. Grief doesn't scream. It whispers. It whispers through the dishes I wash alone now, through the chair she no longer sits in, through the voicemail she left 2 weeks before that I haven't deleted. I replay our last day like a broken film reel. Her quiet breath, her stillness, the way she folded her hands like she was already saying goodbye. I thought she'd tell me when it was time. I thought I'd know. But death doesn't always knock. Sometimes it waits in the doorway and watches you miss your chance. I keep asking myself, would it have made a difference if I stayed? Would she have said something? Would I have understood it if she did? I'll never know. That's the ache no one prepares you for. Not just the missing, but the not knowing. I would give anything to go back to that morning and sit in silence with her. Not to fix anything, not to get answers, just to let her know that even in her quiet, I was listening. A week after the funeral, I went through her room. I thought I was looking for photos, maybe jewelry, something to hold on to. But what I found was a notebook on her nightstand, small, soft blue, almost worn out. She had written in it every morning for the last 3 weeks of her life. Short lines, no punctuation, just feelings. I feel slow today. I wonder if they see it. I don't want to be a burden. I think I'm leaving soon. On the last page, a single sentence. Let them remember me happy. I sat on her bed and read that page again and again until the ink blurred from my tears. She knew. She had known. And in her knowing, she gave me the one thing I didn't give her: time. Time to feel. Time to forgive myself. Time to finally listen. Sometimes they don't say goodbye because they don't want us to remember pain. They want us to remember who they were when they were still here. I keep thinking back to what I should have seen. Looking back, there were 3 things. They weren't dramatic. They didn't scream. But now, they haunt me gently. 1. She stopped planning. No more grocery lists. No more asking about next week. My mom always lived forward. But those last few days, she only spoke in past tense. 2. She began giving things away. Not just items, but stories, wisdom, her favorite books, her wedding ring, which she quietly placed in my sister's drawer, as if she was leaving breadcrumbs for us to find her heart later. 3. She looked at me differently. I didn't notice at the time, but now I remember. The way she looked at me like she was memorizing my face one last time. And I didn't say anything. I looked at my phone. I smiled politely. I missed it. If you still have your parents, watch closely. Listen not just to what they say, but to what they stop saying. Sit with them, even when it's quiet. Because sometimes the softest signs are the most sacred. People think death teaches you about endings. But my mother's death taught me about presence, about how much can be said without speaking, about how the softest goodbye can echo longer than 1,000 words. I used to think love was in the big moments, holidays, birthdays, weddings. But the deepest love, I've learned, lives in the smallest moments, in quiet breakfasts, in shared silence, in the way she placed her hand on mine, without needing to say a thing. Her death didn't break me. It opened me. It cracked the shell of busyness and self-assurance I'd been hiding in. I used to believe I was a good son, because I called often, because I visited, because I said I love you. But I rarely sat in her world. I rarely entered her silence. My mother didn't need my protection. She needed my attention. And if I could go back, I wouldn't bring flowers. I'd bring time. I'd sit beside her, even when neither of us had anything left to say. Because now I know that silence was a conversation she had been waiting to have all along. Stop reading this script and call them. Or better yet, go visit. Bring nothing but your attention. Sit down and watch. Watch how they stir their tea, how they look out the window, how they move slower now. Not because they're tired, but because they're noticing everything they might not see again. Ask them a question you've never asked before. Not about the past, but about what they still hope for. Listen when they speak, and listen harder when they stop. Because the people we love rarely leave without saying goodbye. It's just that the way they say it isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the way they fold a blanket, or pause before they sit down, or look at you a little longer than usual. If your parents are still alive, you still have time. Time to say the words you'll wish you'd said. Time to be the child they always hoped would see them. Not as caretakers, not as burdens, but as souls who want to be seen, one last time before they leave. My mother didn't raise her voice before she died. She didn't tell me to stay. She didn't beg for attention. She just kept being herself. Softer, quieter, slower. And I missed it. But I think now she wasn't trying to say goodbye. She was trying to give me time. Time to notice. Time to listen. Time to slow down and meet her where she was, between this world and the next. I didn't meet her there. But maybe you still can. Maybe the next time your father tells the same story twice, you'll let him finish. Maybe the next time your mother sits beside you in silence, you won't reach for your phone. Maybe, just maybe, you'll sit with her in that silence. And maybe that's where her goodbye is hiding. Not in words, but in presence. Not in the past, but in this quiet, flickering moment you still get to live with her. If you still have time, use it. Call your mom. Sit beside your dad. Don't ask for stories. Just be there when they need someone who's still listening. And if you've already lost them, share this with someone who hasn't. Let them make the choice you wish you had made one quiet morning too long ago.